Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Meeple has landed.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Vitruvian Meeple's production of the Powers That Be Acclaim the Sky campaign. I'm your host, Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple, here as always with Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray for what will probably be the finale of the Powers That Be. We've been doing this for about 2 years, guys, that's freaking cool. Yep, we are all set to wrap up this storyline, but I'll say this again at the end of the show: don't go anywhere, valued viewers. We have our next campaign already set and ready to go. That will be a fantasy campaign we have titled Echoes of the Undying. We'll see how many different ways we can interpret that. But in the meantime, since we have a whole lot to do, and well, hopefully a little more time than usual to do it, but let's see, I'm going to pass it over to our GM, Patrick. Patrick, please, for what may well be the last time, at least in this story, please bring us back into the world of Excelsior.
All right. When last we left our intrepid adventurers, a bunch of plucky people from their neighborhood went to go take care of some soccer hooligans, discovered a massive conspiracy of heroes and villains going on in their world, made their own corner of space, found a favorite coffee spot, adopted just tons and tons and tons of crows and other weird things going around, beat some villains up, turned some villains to friends, discovered that maybe things aren't quite the way they look, and in the end, well, unfortunately, are now squaring off to fight with a giant cosmic superpower, um, who is apparently somehow related to the leader of their team, which just making things more interesting.
Must be Monday.
In our last episode, everyone was left in a shimmering void as the supervillain Erebus was trying to fix a big problem with the world by swapping our world with another like Earth from another reality, full of just tons of people he was going to let die in order to preserve, the world that he is currently inhabiting. It turns out that the crew did not feel like following along with that. And after defeating one of the big behind the scenes villains by arguing him out of it and then dragging his unconsciousness along with them everywhere they go, that's going to be exciting, are now back on what's left of Rikers Island as the ancient priests, massive priests, by the way, might look familiar to a few people, is casting a ruinous spell upon the planet. Everything is shaking and falling apart and turning this eerie glowing green. And ice manages to traverse a whole bunch of people back from there into this little segment of reality in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, y'all can save the Earth. So, as we can see from our map here, the majority of you appear in, from our directions, the lower left. Your team leader has been waylaid by, Erebus's abilities to teleport precisely anywhere in the known universe, to hang out with Erebus and Lumiere, the other two people who you all happen to know, have alien entities stuck inside of their head, which turn out to be a bit bigger than the symbiotes originally thought. But hey, that's how it works. you can see in the upper side, the remaining members of the Liberty League have come down here. For what reason, you don't know. It's missing one. He's still in the Shimmering Void. Nobody thought to go get him. And
Okay.
Erebus sure as heck doesn't feel like talking to him either. So USA, Eidolon, Ace, and Night Knight are there to square off. And then, of course, in the bottom right corner, the monstrosity of a priest has surfaced up out of the water, stepped upon the island, and started casting a weird spell. So when last we left, the plan was to give the mysterious orange rock, known as the Layrock, to Automacon to power him in order to counteract some of the spell. And the thought being that since the time is nigh, hopefully the nighness will pass eventually. If you can just distract the sucker long enough to make the spell fail, then the Earth might survive. That's the current plan, at least. So, team, what are you doing?
Well, first, I'd like just a slight flashback as we're about to leave the Shimmering Void. As Jacta locks eyes with Erebus,
No, not right now.
not really even looking, just shoots Obey in the head and says, "Send the Piper back to the progenitor and let him pipe." And then we blink out.
All right. So now we no longer have the unconscious form of Obey. We have his corpse. Which,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, he was unhappy being a symbiote, so send him home.
He had it coming.
One
All
down.
Secondary benefit.
So you all appear. Esmeralda looks around, kind of concerned about, where she has found herself, because there are no snacks, treats, catnip, or anything else anywhere to be seen.
But there's plenty of stuff for her to beat up on.
Hey, there's a large pile of calamari.
Do you want Esmeralda eating one of the ancient ones? Do you know what that will do to a cat?
Yes, it'll turn it into goose.
The first thing I'm going to do is pop my shock attack CYPHER,
Okay.
which for 24 hours gives me 3 additional points of damage anytime I strike a solid object, creature, or object.
Thunder snow.
Basically. So that's the first thing I do.
I get on the comms as I'm staring down my illustrious comrades, I guess, here. And I say, I'm going to be a little busy here. I need you all to work together. When we've done that, there is nothing that can stop you. I have discipline of watchfulness. Oh wait, that's okay. Actually, I should take one more action. I want to take an action for another recovery roll.
Okay.
Do we?
There's
A.
massive hurry because the priest is busily casting its spell. It's not paying the slightest attention to the numerous ants who are crawling around the rock that it's on.
Okay, then I'm going to take a moment to pop a CYPHER myself. Time dilation. For the next 24 hours, when the user makes a melee attack, they move at almost instantaneous speed, easing their attacks by 2 steps, 3 steps if the CYPHER is level 6 or higher. It's only a level 1, but I will certainly take it.
Nice. I already popped that one.
And I'll pop the repeater, which basically for the next minute allows me to basically make an extra free attack every time I shoot. So
I'm going to pop tissue regeneration. For the next hour, the user regains 1 point lost to damage per round, up to a total number of points equal to twice the Cypher's level. As each point is regained, they choose which pool to add it to. If all their pools are at maximum, regeneration pauses until they take more damage, at which point it begins again, if any time remains in the hour, until the duration expires. So that is
Right.
up and running.
And for its part, Atomicon holds up the Layrock and looks at it for a moment, turns in its hand, and the orange glow beams about it. Then a panel opens in its chest, very Optimus Prime-like, and it takes it and slaps it in. Boom. Its eyes start blazing orange. It's distressed, obviously, by what's happening, but it manages to keep to its feet, gets up, looks at the rest of you and says, "Let's do this." Okay.
So I wish to visibly be looking at, you see a close-up of Gene's eyes. He's looking at Erebus, and then he looks over at Cthulhu. He looks at Lumiere, and he looks over at Cthulhu. And he looks at the team, and it's just this kind of back and forth, back and forth. Gene steps forward, puts his hand on both of their shoulders, like, y'all gonna give me a minute. And I fly over to, well, I don't think there's any safe range of Calamari Saurus over here, but I want to sacrifice my level 6 reflex enhancer CYPHER in order to use word of command. You utter a word so powerful that to fully invest it, you sacrifice a cipher in your possession that is level 6 or higher. You issue the word to one creature within long range that you can see. The affected target must obey the command for several hours before it is free to act as it wishes. Targets that are attacked while under the effect of the command can defend themselves. The GM decides how the target acts once a command is given.
Okay. So that's now you a little closer.
Yeah.
Let's see. This seems like a get over there. This seems like a nice dramatic spot.
bum bum bum.
Not over the big
I was,
yawning green void, just in case you fall.
I was
Thanks.
about to say it looked. I thought you were going to leave him there, like in the in the middle of the chasm.
You have to remember he's had his flight fail him before, so. Okay, what command are you going to issue?
Retreat.
Oh, look at this. Tonight's first intrusion.
I guess I'll take that one, Bob.
So who of your XP starved community are you going to give the other one to?
ECAT.
So anyone, by the way, was watching this from afar, I made a deal with the party. They were close to reaching level 6, so I gave them the choice that either they can all go up to level 6 and have no experience, or they can have the experience they currently have, which allows them to re-roll screw ups and stuff like that. So they of course chose for the higher level. So we'll see how that works out for them.
In our defense, we also then loaded up on abilities which let us re-roll once. So
Also, in our defense, Patrick strongly hinted at that being level 6 for this encounter would be, or
Yep.
tier 6 would be a good idea. So
Would be
Probably, yeah.
at this juncture.
plus, tier 6 characters are the shit. They are the awesome.
The priest stops the spell that it's doing, looks up at you, and makes a weird motion. This kind of ripply thing going through its whole body, and you realize it's saluting you. And it says, in its horrible voice, in its horrible language that you understand, or at least Eddie understands, "The time is nigh, and I shall retreat as soon as we're done. Great Emperor." Voice of the primary chaos. And then it goes back, drawing some weird green glowy line.
This is audible for everybody to hear. It's like, Eddie, tell me again what your realm is.
Transformation.
And I bring Eddie close to the surface, and I want to cast perception as Eddie that the priest thinks that the work is done.
Can I assist him by zooming around what I think the rest of the sigil might look like so that the trail of energy looks more convincing that the sigil is done?
Actually, not perception, persuasion.
There you
Sorry.
go.
All right. So, as Eddie, I will give you 2 assets to this.
Oh.
And your target for this guy, he's not the toughest guy that you have encountered so far, which is really nice. He's a target 10.
Huh. Okay. I have 2 assets. Use my 4 steps. And we are going to throw 2 levels of effort into it.
Do it to it, baby. Yeah! Let's go!
All right.
Well done.
So what major effect would you like?
First of all, Ray, don't forget to click the little coin icon to get your points back.
Click the coin icon. Icon clicked.
Yep.
All right.
Let's go.
So what you see is Crash is busily creating believable sigils in front of the priest. And what we perceive as the priest's eyes, or at least sensory, whatever it's using to sense the outer world, there's some undulation going on. If he had regular eyes, it's almost as if they were starting to spin, almost as if it's going into a trance. And you hear Eddie prominently, yes, good. The work is good. Your job here mighty priest, has come to a close. Rest well, knowing that you have fulfilled your tremendous and noble duty.
Yeah, so I need the fortunately there is like 11 billion status effects and they don't have what I'm looking for. Yeah, let's call it stunned for the moment. It's like, huh? All right, so while this is happening, Automacon lets loose with the energy that he has absorbed and manages to erase a section of the sigil. So just, and past where he shoots, and although the earth where he is shot has just been just destroyed, but so too is a section of the sigil. All the big guys standing there going, wait, right? Oh, it's been a long time. Sleeping for a couple billion years. Oh, damn it. I should have written this down somewhere, but writing wasn't invented yet.
And the moon says chop.
For any Dimension 20 fans in the audience, we call it pre-read.
Pre-reading. Speaking of pre-reading, I would like to observe the priest and, do that whole mathematical scan thing that I do.
All right. Is that a skill you have to roll, or is that an automatic observe?
That's an automatic one.
Okay. So you're standing there staring at it and trying to get a grip on what is happening. Because, well, there's a lot to him. And he's not strictly a Euclidean entity, as best you have been able to tell.
We're sitting on a sphere. None of the geometrics of the sphere are Euclidean, technically.
So, how about an intrusion?
How about fuck you, Patrick? Right?
Now is the time that we all collectively flip off the GM.
Yes. All right. Intrude away. You're in intrudeful self.
Who are you giving the other experience points to? Point to.
Let's give it to Crash.
No, actually, give it to Paw because
Paw.
she doesn't have any ability to reroll ones. I do.
All right. Yeah. We'll do Paw.
Okay. So hit accept.
Yep. I just had to scroll to the correct thing. Working with not a whole lot of screen real estate here.
Okay. So you are using your brain largely at its maximum capacity at this point because it's not just that it's large and changing, but there are so many interesting things about it. You're seeing points of power, points of it that perhaps said it's dead, but it's also not dead at the same time. It's being animated by something. Whether or not it was ever alive, you're not quite sure, but it's really an interesting thing. And then you hear a voice in the back of your head, and it is not speaking English, it's speaking German. And it says, It's still missing the part we took from it.
Scheiße. Okay, I guess that's my turn. Next.
Right. Any other pre-combat stuff people want to do?
Yes, actually. So I'm sitting here with the rest of the group, right?
Well, you ran around a bit, so
That's
wherever
right.
you land at the end of that's up to you.
Hmm.
Just don't get too close to it. It has very big feet.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna zoom up to Jean just because I can, and I look at you. I meet you in the eyes. You see the blue and whitish energy dancing behind that. I say, I promise this won't hurt a bit, and I clap you on the shoulder. Your eyes also start doing the energy thing for a bit, and I unveil my new ability called Wild Vitality. It is a level 2 intellect task. I'm doing it with might, so that does technically make it a. I'd have to do it with a level 1. I can do it with a level 1 without spending any points. So.
Just thinking so hard.
Yep.
Getting swole.
There we go. I wasn't going to bother with trying to set up the sheet. I rolled a 3 or higher. So that means my might edge is now 8. My speed edge is now 3, and I too do. Oh, I have an asset to all my might-based tasks, including attacks and defenses, and I do 2 additional points of damage for a minute.
Nice.
I'm gonna walk up to Jack while he's dealing with his inner demons. Are you carrying that big monstrosity of a gun that we bought from that interdimensional thingy?
You've seen him fold it and unfold it, so
Can I see it on you?
Probably he would have gotten it out. Let's say when he shot Obey, it was with the alien gun.
Okay. I'm going to reach over and lightly touch.
And it's not depleted, Patrick, so
No, it's you no longer have the corpse of Obey there. You have a bloody stain of Obey, his flute, and that's it.
But I'm going to reach out and touch the muzzle of the alien gun and do frost touch, which it doesn't do much, but it adds 1 more point of damage for it. It's not much,
for how
but
long?
10 minutes.
Oh, nice.
And since it would be an automatic success because I've got a edge of 6 in intellect, I'm not going to bother to roll for it.
Okay, Esmeralda gets bored and starts wandering around.
Well, cat.
Cat's gonna cat.
Yep.
And Hex turns to the 3 of you still standing there, looks up at the big monstrosity, says, I don't want to take advantage of the situation. Perhaps we should call a truce for the moment.
Agreed. Keep in mind, I brought you both here to keep you from the void.
And thank you for that greatly. So let's say either we get taken out by it, or if we somehow manage to survive, give us an hour. Fair?
Fair. And you leave our coffee place alone.
Yes.
That we consider that neutral territory from now on.
Okay. I do like their coffee.
All right. Got any ideas?
Well, on the one side, Laser Boy over there is trying to undo its abilities. Your leader seems to be talking to it. I don't understand a word of it. Makes my ears bleed every time they say anything. I say that we go for perhaps a more direct route. We have to figure out where it's weak and hurt it the most. So, Jack, any ideas?
Am I out of the fugue?
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm going to pop that handy dandy remembrance cipher. And allows the user to recall any one experience they've ever had. The experience can be no longer than 1 minute per cipher level, which is 3 minutes. But the recall is so perfect. For example, if they saw someone dial phone, they would remember the number. So, yeah. What was the part we in a past life
So,
I
you
took
think
from it?
back and you get like a wee bit of a twinge in your head, like you're about to get a headache, but it doesn't really happen. And then you start remembering back to somewhere 1938. You are on an island that is uncharted and largely unreachable. It is a very weird place. Some people, step over a rock and fall 4 stories, get crushed on the ground. Some places, it looks like, a slight rise, and you find yourself walking into a wall that just is there. When you step back, it's not. You step forward, it rises up. The geometry of the place is just wrong. But you, of course, being smarter than the rest of the crew, lead the way into this ancient temple with massive stone doors. There's a thin crack along one of the doors that's wide enough for 2 people to walk through. You go in and you see before you, asleep or dead or what, the priest in repose on the ground. Without a moment's hesitation, you walk up to its head. You get out some special tools, you futz around with it, and then you pull something away from it. It's an entity. Part of the priest, partly its own thing. And you look at it as it's hanging on this containment device that you've brought it on. You turn to the others. This is where we run. And you hastily retreat out of the place. You still have it in your hand, and it's shimmering and turning, and you look at it. You say, this is how I'm going to reshape humanity.
Well, for damn it. Okay.
You'll have some more flashback in a minute.
That's fine. I just got a new ability on the tier up, and it's knowing the unknown. By accessing the resources appropriate to your character, you can ask the GM one question and get a general answer. The GM assigns a level to the question, so the more obscure the answer, the more difficult the task. Generally, knowledge that you could find by looking somewhere other than your current location is level 1, and obscure knowledge of the past is level 7. Gaining knowledge of the future is impossible. It's an
Okay.
action.
And what do you want to know? What's your question?
Question is there a way to use the missing part against the priest? Can I extrapolate from what was taken? Or barring that,
Excellent. So this sends you into another flashback. You're in a lab. You're working with a very weird device. Inside of the device is the containment unit for the thing that you had extracted. You are making new people. It is not in Nazi Germany. That war ended before you had the chance to use it. Instead, you were able to defect. You made your way to the United States, and you're working in a very secret government program.
good old Operation Paperclip.
You are
Hmm.
constructing two types of things right now. The first one is you are using part of the actual energy itself out of the thing, shaving little parts of it off, and impregnating it into people. Otherwise, you are using the thing itself. You have taught it how to speak in English, and you are telling it to make new people. You're explaining. This one, give them animal qualities. Let's say like a tiger with claws, very sensitive ears, ability to leap, very strong. And it starts creating something that, may look a bit like one of the relatives of Paw. Except during this particular day's experimentation, the thing gets loose. It starts fleeing the lab. And while it's fleeing the lab, it constructs itself a body, which is, well, what you've been having it do the entire time. And it turns back to you and it looks at you, and you've seen those eyes before, and you realize what that is.
It's fucking Shift, isn't it?
It's Shift. You took Shift out of the priest's head, used it to create scions and atoms, and unfortunately it got away. It started getting intelligent because it was working with you.
What you get for being Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, well, like we established last episode, Jack isn't terribly happy with some of his past selves.
Good evening, Dr. Frankenshift.
No. It's not Frankenshift, it's Dr. Frankenshift's monster.
That's Frankenshift.
As long as you're not Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Yeah, let's not.
No.
Right.
All right.
We could be Dr. Scratch and Sniff.
Okay, so
It's the
So
last
Shift
episode,
was-
folks. We're a little punchy.
So, Paul, we haven't heard from you.
Yeah. Well, she's doing her version of what Jack does. The whole calculating basically how and where to pounce, minus the butt wiggle, because she's not at that point in her calculations yet.
Okay, so you're trying to pick a likely target on this thing.
Yeah. It's big, and I'm trying to find a vulnerability. If it was more smaller scale and more humanoid, or even more of a recognizable animal, I'd have an easy,
It's only as if like Jack had learned something about it recently that might be handy for your purpose.
I was just about to ask if Jack has shared any of that flashback with the rest of us.
Well, you did hear son of a bitch. It's shift.
Why? Wait, what?
Okay, so old me, kind of lobotomized Cthulhu a little bit, and the end result was, well, besides all of the atoms and scions, was shift. Shift is Cthulhu's hippocampus, amygdala, not quite sure.
Bring
Okay.
it back down to 6th grade, Professor.
Part of his brainium evolved into shift.
So hit it in its brain meats.
It's worth a shot, yeah.
You had to pull it out through something. It has a hole in its head. It's not a big one, but it's there.
It's there. So I trepaned fucking Cthulhu. Great. Fucking
Okay.
Nazis.
There's a hole in its head that can only be hit by you.
So on everybody's heads up display, there's a little reticle that pops open on the hole in the head, or at least where I remember where the hole is. Can I use another ability at this point?
Sure. It's right now it's trying to figure out whether or not the spell is done or still happening. It's a little confused.
Okay, I'm going to pop inspire coordinated actions, which, if your allies can see and easily understand you, you can instruct each of them to take one specific action, which is aim for the hole in the head. If any of them chooses to take that exact action, they can do it as an additional action immediately. This doesn't interfere with them taking their actions, their normal actions, on their turns.
Go for the eyes, Boo. Go for the eyes.
The eyes, yes.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so
I would need to get closer to the fucker.
I am going to use my oh, for God's sakes, my super jump to try to just swiftly just start running, bounce, and try to just basically fly through the air towards his head, towards that hole, as one action. And then, let's see. And then I get the second one from Jack, which is attack 1. And then I also have another ability to allow me to take another action.
Everybody's highlight. Oh, God damn it. You need to highlight everybody except for those two fuckers over there.
Everybody was Cthulhu fighting. All struck as fast as lightning.
Now I'm trying to find my own damn icon. Here. Okay. You're moving me. Never mind.
Dun 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 dun.
Wait a second. Let's see. Okay. I accidentally ended up putting Paw behind the big Cthulhu thing, so we might want to pop her out. And yeah, I'll put her right next to it.
There we go.
Okay, that's good. That's
Okay.
okay. let's see if I can,
Let me get this into combat state. Come on, yeah. Zoom in some more. All right, it is time to roll for initiative.
Woot.
Dun dun dun.
base difficulty.
No, base difficulty for initiative in this is going to be 0. Y'all are going before it
Oh.
because
Okay.
It's
Ooh.
a big target.
So you do still get a major effect on that 20, by the way.
I gotta find initiative. Hold on.
It's at the top of skills.
Yeah, I just gotta do it.
Let's see. Now I'm trying to think what would be an appropriate major effect for rolling a 20 on initiative.
I'd say get an extra attack.
Sure. Okay, so that's
Maybe
gonna be
that-
3. That's gonna be 3 attacks. You good with that?
oh, that works for me. You don't want to know this thing's stats.
Okay.
All right. Is everybody rolled?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Do we have the
Start the encounter.
There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Okay.
Okay, so up first. Crash.
Okay.
What do they
So
call 'em?
between my very long sprinting and my range increase, can I run all the way up Cthulhu?
You know what? If Spider-Man can run up a wall, why not you?
Because my running range in one action when I'm phased is now 1,000 feet. You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I am going invisible. I am running up Cthulhu and double firing the Scratch Existence and Disrupting Touch at him. And specifically at the hole in the head.
Okay, so finding the hole is going to be mildly tricky
Okay.
because it is a softball-sized hole in a giant monster's head.
Yeah. No more than 2 meters wide. Yeah.
You might be able to drop a bomb into it, but
Okay. What's
Gee, Crash, at that speed, do you think you can pull out in time?
not the plan?
so let's see. But you do have the reticule set up, so you'll have it down to somewhere like a 10 square foot area. That it's somewhere in there.
Okay.
So are you going to try to find it, or are you just going to go in blasting and, hope for the best?
So since I'm already going and I only get the extra action if I actually aim for it, I suppose I'm just going to go blast wildly.
All right. I attack him. He is a target 10.
Okay. Okay, so let's see. So I am now phased and invisible. Yoink. Which means Scratch Existence
I know, dude.
is eased by 4 steps. Oh, I forgot to put in. Oh no, I didn't. Okay, 4 steps. I have an asset, which means that I also lower it by an additional level because of exploit advantage. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do the one attack, because then I can pump a little bit of effort into it for still no cost. I will do one level of effort. Difficulty 10s. Nope, wrong one. You know what? I'll do. I've got the regeneration going up. I will do 2 levels of effort, which will actually end up costing me a total of 2 points. And no! Wait, hold on. I don't think I have anything that lets me just reroll anything once. Let me. Nope, that's defense task. Roll a 1. Roll a 1. Darn it. Okay. Yep. Nope. Okay. So that was my jackdaw action.
Yep.
Now I get my regular action, right?
Oh. Hang on here. Previous turn. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna do that again. I'm just gonna do that again.
All right.
Okay. 2 levels of effort. Difficulty 10. Are you kidding me? Can someone toss me an XP?
Sure.
There we go.
Wow.
Well then,
Oh, righty then. So, Can I, as a major effect, make the hole bigger?
Why, yes, you can.
Why then, yeah, why, yes, I will.
Okay, and let's see. How many points is that total?
That is 9 points of damage that ignores armor. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Hold on. Let me get back to you on that. I've got to do the math because something's not right here.
Okay. So, paw.
okay. So one of my abilities is Ambusher. When you attack a creature that is not yet acted during the first round of combat, your attack is eased. So,
And take an asset. Because I can do the enable others as a free action.
awesome. Okay,
So-
Patrick, so that takes the difficulty from 10 down to 9.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you've got an asset, it's eased by 1, so it's down to 8.
I'm sorry, Patrick, that's 14 damage that ignores armor.
Okay.
Let's see. Too many screens. Use. Okay, that is attack number 1. And gets a what do they call it? Gets an extra. Hold on. Back to my ability. Because it was previously unaware of my presence, I assume. deals an extra 3 points of damage. So that is 14 points of damage, and I still have 2 more attacks to go. Yeah, that's another 14 points. And she's basically she is all claws and teeth flailing from what you guys can see. She is a ball of furry rage at this fucker who is just in, she's done. She is hit done. And that is another 14 points of damage, and now my turn is over.
Love it.
And she stops in the crouch, slightly panting.
Have you crouched down enough so the rest of us can see the damn hole?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes, and yeah, the final little basically flip, part of that third attack is her crouch next to it, kind of pointing like this. Hit here. And on that
Take a
note,
selfie with it.
yeah, and on that note, I have furry little miscreants who need to be fed. So,
All right. And so up next, Automacon.
Okay.
Automacon powers himself up, as he is wont to do.
yeah,
And instead of shooting the priest, which everybody would assume he would do, and instead of shooting at the green sigil-like stuff that is still warming around in space doing all sorts of fun stuff, instead hits ice. So shoot you with the weird orange light. Everything turns orange for you. You feel the oxygen starting to condense around you. In other
Okay.
words, he's powered you up a good.
Oh, okay. Like I can breathe. It doesn't matter to me. I can breathe in the vacuum of space. So okay. So he's just like super hit me with like 18 million cups of coffee, kind of powered up, kind of thing.
Yes. Yes.
Gotcha.
Remember what would happen when y'all touched the rock? That's what it did to you.
Okay.
Because Automacon is a very smart robot. And your DM wants you guys to survive.
Even the little goth with a death wish. Okay.
All right. Jack.
So the
robot shoot your friend who is now like this orange frost is forming around her. It's getting a little tricky to breathe where you are right now because the air is taking a really hard turn for the cold. And you think that some of the gases are starting to precipitate out of it.
Yep, solid oxygen. That's
oxygen, there's a pool of nitrogen over there. And, woo,
yikes.
Still
all
move though, right?
Hmm?
I can still move.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
So Jack, I'm fine. Guys, I'm fine.
Okay.
You might want to take your movement this round to take a step away from her before you do whatever you're going to do.
Yep. I'm gonna do that. Do I actually get an action, or was the inspire coordinated actions my action
that was before you had your turn had come up. So you're now in
okay?
you're now in combat.
I take back every nasty thing I said about you, Patrick. 5 minutes ago. Anyway. All right. In that case. So I've got the repeater cipher running.
Is that good?
I'm going to pop rapid processing, which basically overclocks, you know, all of my mental processes. And so all speed at tasks, including defense, are eased. And I can take an extra action, which I'm going to shoot at the hole, and which means I shoot twice.
Okay, now then, since the hole has been made a bit bigger and one of your friends is standing right at it, pointing at the damn thing while taking a selfie of herself, the task on hitting that is now eased to a 9.
Okay. So base difficulty 9. It. All right. Let me just count up everything. So it's eased by the cog the rapid processing. It's eased because of the forget what it's called. It's the it's part of calculating the uncalculable. It's cognitive offense. All right. So that's 1, 2, and then I've got the where is it? 1 accuracy shift, so that's 3. Should actually pay for the rapid processing. So it goes down to that. And all right, so at 3, that's 6. All right, and what the hey, I will might as well go for broke here because it's basically 2 attacks here. So I'll ease the task by 3 levels too.
Nice.
Plus
So
the 1 damage I gave you as well.
right. So that's 12 points of damage.
Nicely done.
Nice.
And we get to run the whole thing again.
By the way, for our viewers, some of our characters may be good at math, but the players themselves, well, we are not.
Well, I'm also trying to explain the, what I'm doing here to the viewers.
Yep.
So they're
Yes.
not like, what the hell? That was like a really difficult shot. And like, because I believe somebody said a while back we should be doing that. So. Oh, well. Can't have them all.
Yep.
At least tagged in once. That was anticlimactic.
Although you succeeded in not shooting your teammates who happened to be up near the giant hole in his head. So that was pretty good.
We like
That's
that.
good.
Yeah.
And we're good.
Okay. So Gene.
Hi.
You're watching the fight starting to happen in earnest. And then you hear a couple of voices coming from behind you. As two more people join the other two. I don't have icons for them because it will not be joining in the combat.
Hmm.
And one says, "Ah, cousins, it's been a long time, hasn't it?" And you turn and you look, and there is a woman who looks kind of like a bog witch or something like that. She obviously does not take very good care of her human form, who you can tell everywhere she has stepped because things are coming alive underneath where her feet were. Mushrooms, worms, daffodils, just anything follows along wherever she has walked. And the other one is a man in a very nice yellow suit. Like, ah, never thought the day would come, did you? Looking up at the priest with, some certain amount of interest because, well, the human side of it's never seen the thing before.
So is that Haster and Shubby there?
Yep.
Thank you,
Or was
because I
Hades
don't get the
and
references.
Persephone?
It's Haster the Unspeakable, aka King in Yellow.
Okay.
And Shub Nigoroth, which is not a slur, though it sounds like one, who's the, so you've basically got the avatar of insanity and decay, plus the avatar of fecund growth and birth.
Life itself.
Yes. Shubby is the fecund deity.
Go to the woods with 1,000 young.
Yes.
So I internally go to Eddie and say, at the time, it's like, do you know these people? I didn't receive an invitation.
Oh, yes, those are our cousins. A little younger than me.
Doesn't take much.
I think they were alerted when the Piper died.
Mm.
So, unusual circumstance, to be perfectly honest.
Oops, my bad.
Seems to be a theme running the last 2 days. So I while they're making their announcement and coming up and all, I'm still on the comms, and I'm going to that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. And
Hey, GM, while he's thinking, did that burst of power return all my intellect points by chance?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
We wait for our illustrious leader to rejoin us.
hi. I don't know why I blinked out, but I did.
Yeah, little
Fortunately,
circle.
you look like you were thinking really hard.
What
I look
happens
up
when you
and
look
he
at
just
Cthulhu in the face?
yeah, you just see these 3 dots going across my face periodically. Ah, Ha! Do we
Little wheel
have
of doom.
do we have enough people that are within short range of Cthulhu?
For now, it looks like Julie's the only one.
No, I'm there as well. We just didn't
Oh,
move
yeah,
myself
we should
over.
move Crash over.
Okay.
I will be, but not yet because my turn hasn't gone yet.
So if I the abilities kind of there we go. So all right. Well, we will do that for one turn. I will wait. Where did I go? Where am I? There we go. Yay. Okay. Yes. I'm going to roll battle management for Crash and Paw for their next turns. Is there a base difficulty for that?
I am trying to remember the base difficulty of that.
So, Ray, do me a favor in your abilities list.
Yes.
Alt click on the name of it. That'll send the description to the chat.
Okay.
There you go. Oh well, yep. There's no roll for that.
Oh, okay. Nope. So I do that.
Ooh,
Just burns in action.
Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay.
Which you can also attack if you want, because
Yep.
I didn't think I could.
No, because that's your action.
Yep.
well, he gets a jackdaw action too.
Oh.
If you aim for the head. Or aim for the hole in the head.
Yep.
Okay.
Jesus is going to go and slap the Pope anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a faux pas, but
well, the way it's going, it's not going to remember what happened anyway.
Right.
And besides, like, pretty sure Jesus would have slapped the crap out of Ratzenegger if he came back. So
Yeah.
So can I zip on over since I still have
You're flying, so yes.
Yep. I have time dilation also. So it's pretty much zip. Okay, fine. Great. Then let's do. Can I grab an asset from whenever Crash jolted me?
No, that doesn't do anything to you. It's just me.
Oh, okay.
Nope, that's
I
just
thought because my eyes.
Nope.
Never mind. All right. Okay, so good old release energy.
All right. Target for the hole is now 9. And each time he gets hit, the hole does get a little bit bigger.
Okay.
He doesn't have bones or anything like that. It's a large, weird gelatinous mass in the shape of a bat-winged, squid-faced, who knows what else is going on with the thing.
That's why not.
good old bat kraken.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. So there we go. We will add 3 levels of effort.
Nice.
So, unfortunately, As Jean flew over and was still distracted by Curious George's dad and strange plant woman over there. And it completely went kapwing off of Jello Head in front of me.
All right. Up next, Wee Little Matrix. So she decides that shooting at this hole in the head seems like a really grand idea. So she pulls out her glitter cannon, turns some dials on it, and takes a good shot. It wharfs out, instead of its usual just blast of glitter, which of course will not make it that far, shoots out a container of some sort, which makes its way into the hole. Those up around the hole hear a thump sound, and a whole bunch of gore and rainbow glitter spew out of the hole everywhere, coating all of you with both.
Oh, oh God.
That glitter is going to be on that island forever. You're still finding the glitter from the last fight with her inside of your house.
Why did that just happen?
Next up, Hex. Hex looks up at the mighty priest, shrugs, goes, well, I only really have the one trick. Let's see if it works. Holds up his staff. The eyes on the cane glow red and shoots his shot straight at the hole in the creature's head, which then, interestingly enough, starts decaying around the outside of it, and parts of it start falling off. The hole gets bigger. It is now a target 8.
Nice.
Ice.
Okay. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I kind of got to get closer. So I teleport to immediate distance, which doesn't require a roll because I've got enough edge that I don't need to.
Okay, so you're going to teleport yourself onto its head, I assume? Because being at its feet does not make the head short range.
Yes, put me at immediate distance.
Okay. Let's shoot the rest of the gang. I'm just noting that none of you are under its feet at the moment,
Yep.
which is a very important place not to be,
Yes.
just in case it moves.
Okay, so he is a level 8, you say?
The hole in his head's a level 8. He's a 10, depending on what you're doing.
All right, well, doesn't matter. I am going to evoke a new ability, Opportunist, which gives me an asset on attack rolls made against a creature that has already been attacked at some point during the round and is within immediate range. So I give myself an asset. And I'm going to just onslaught this thing. Put my hand out and drop, pile drive. Bing, 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 a whole bunch of little ice shards right into him and give him the ultimate brain freeze.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a couple levels of effort. Hey, it succeeds. So that is 4 plus 3. That's 7 more points of damage. And I'm going to, well, no, my first action is the teleportation, and then the attack was Jackdaws. So I kind of move out of the way, kind of hanging on.
So, on account of the fact that you were hit by Atomicon, you end up doing way more damage than you thought you would normal.
Okay.
Like you're expecting your regular ice darts. That's not what happens. This huge spike of ice manifests from your hand and drives itself inside, and then breaks off once you move your hand, and then it's, just kind of sinking into its interiors. It's very unpleasant to see. And it doesn't smell very nice up there either, just might I add.
Well,
And now you have glitter on you too.
trying to become a bubblegum goth.
Esmeralda. Starts wandering over to where all of the action is, trying to see what's going on. Because, well, Esmeralda's cat. All right. Finally, time for the Liberty League to get into action.
About fucking time.
Night Knight pulls out his sword and his shield, leaps forward with rocket-assisted feet, and, of course, not being part of your communications array, does not go after the hole in Cthulhu's head.
Because why go after the big gaping hole in the side of the monster's head?
That the other superhero team has been pounding at.
Yeah,
It doesn't want to crowd in all that much. No, instead it goes after, he goes after its belly, figuring it's a nice big bulbous area. There should be something important held behind there. Most things, when you cut them in the belly hard enough, they get eviscerated. So he leaps up, stabs it with his mighty star metal sword, and cuts out a fairly good swath of the front of the creature. It's quite impressive to behold. And next up, USA. USA takes another tack entirely. He heads over to the aliens to try to talk them into doing something. For the love of everybody, please, anything. And they're like, dude, we can't beat him up. I have created him.
Oh,
And then, of
fucker.
course, Hasters are like, "What? Oh, come on! This is the most fun I've seen all year. I should have brought popcorn." All right, and next up, Ace, a pretty decent, person, does what she does best. She, on the other hand, has been paying attention to what you guys are doing, flies up into the air, achieves supersonic speed, and flies into the hole in the head.
where I was aiming to.
Bill. So, what is Bill gonna do?
Bill Klein, the science guy.
So, Bill once again takes a slightly different tack. He looks at Jack and connects with Jack's head and the several brains that are floating around inside of it. And somehow, you're not quite certain this was even possible at this point, makes your brain work even faster. Get yet another free asset on your further attacks. And then Statesman. Statesman looks over, cracks his knuckles. All right, guys, let me show you how this is done. Flies forward for a straight head-on attack with the priest.
Am I the only one who's kind of hoping that he whiffs?
No.
No.
Honestly, I'm kind
Wait
of hoping
for it.
that he like smacks the side and knocks himself unconscious.
He flies towards the priest after making this big pronouncement. And at this exact moment, the priest is like, wait, no, this ritual's all right. What the fuck is that? And swats at Statesman.
Yay!
Statesman goes flying through the air and smacks into the ground, leaving a very nice statesman-shaped hole in it.
Whereabouts did he land?
Towards its feet. He basically knocked him downwards.
Arrogant motherfucker.
You know, kind of like how you'd like swatted a flyer around you, except you're, an elder thing, and that does a lot.
Oh darn, we just can't spare the time to go save it.
And so the great priest, feeling a little weird all of a sudden, goes back to working on its ritual. Fortunately, it's not going to attack all of you because, well, you're on its head. Let's hope it doesn't. And Eidolon, because he is so rocket fast, looks upon the battlefield, mutters something to himself in Greek, which translates loosely as, "Oh shit, it's time to bring out the big guns for this one." Straightens himself up and says a little prayer to call upon the power of Zeus. He gets bigger, like starting to look pretty swole, holds up his hand, and his fist is lightning.
Okay. It's legit.
And that's it. That's his move for the whole thing. Hopefully it'll be a second round because he might actually be able to do something. And Akira, who at this point, paying pretty much no attention to the cat because, well, there's a battle for the fate of the world, and Esmeralda can honestly take care of herself. And she's right over there anyway. Races up off of the ground, lifts her hands up. A large hunk of the broken ground raises up into the air, kind of spins around in front of her, and then she yeets it straight at Cthulhu's head. Beans it in the big hole inside of the head, shattering the now rotten flesh that is around it, increasing the size of the hole even more before the rock passes inside of the head and knocks around the inside a few times. Because, well, she's pretty freaking powerful. So target now is 7.
Ping, 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 ricochet rock.
And that should be the end of turn. Next round. Ding-ding-ding. None of y'all have gotten yourselves killed yet. I am impressed.
You said the target for the hole is now a 7?
A 7.
I can hit it automatically. If I am, because I have wild vitality up, if I go invisible, I have a total of 2 assets, and the roll is further eased by 5.
So here's the question. Are you going to attack the hole, or are you going to go into it?
Why choose? So yes, I am invisibling up, and then I am zipping down inside the hole. What do I see?
It is a hot mess in here right now. The structural integrity of whatever was inside of its skull is really starting to get compromised. You see a big rock bouncing around, and there's this huge spike of stuff of ice that is now melting inside of the heat inside of it. It is getting pretty messy inside. That said, it is not like any sort of, interior of a head. It is not completely full of stuff. There are empty spaces inside of it that you can run along, like, the curvatures on whatever it has for a brain. There's large vesicles of just vast void emptiness inside of it. So, pretty good space. You could probably, move the family of 6 into it without any problems.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that there is more than one viable target in here.
Why, yes, strangely enough. If you were paying attention to what Jack was saying earlier, there are other parts of it that are where it derives its power, and some other parts that are just kind of worthless to it.
Okay.
So you could travel elsewhere inside of the great creature.
So what can I hit that seems important from where I am? Never mind. I've got a speed of 1,000 frickin' feet. I'm going to go where there are two extremely viable and vulnerable targets. And the first so what kind of targets can I find? I need two of them within short range. Well, actually, no, I don't. I need two of them somewhere within my range.
There is something that looks like it's probably its heart, even though nothing is pumping through it currently, because you're kind of traveling through some of its arterial structures. But you're cruising through and through, its cardiovascular system that, for reasons once again, doesn't have anything pumping through it, but it's
Yeah.
still there. And you get to like a big chamber with some valves and stuff, and you're like, this looks like it might be important.
Let's have some fun. So I'm going to take I'm going to target two different valves. One of them with the first scratch existence, because I took a level of training that lets me attack a second target. So what is my target number for that?
Okay. Since you're on the inside,
Mhm.
this makes the targeting much, much easier. So it will maintain being a 7.
Okay, then I hit it automatically and do 16 damage that ignores armor.
All right.
That was my first attack. Now we dial this down. Go back here. Wild vitality. Okay, so you said it's a 7?
Yes.
Okay, so I actually do have to roll this then. Do scratch distance is 1, east by 2. Base difficulty 7. For a level of effort at this. Do all the calculations later. So that is, let me just make sure I have that right. That is, 11 damage. So 13 damage with the second scratch existence. That was to the second valve. And then the disrupting touch to the same target. I will throw an effort into. I'll throw 2 levels of effort into this one. No. No, just one is fine. Yep, and I missed. Okay.
Excellent work.
So
So next up, Paw.
Okay, so I'm down to just the one action this round, or did the extra or is the extra attack if I go for the head thing from Jack still effect? I couldn't remember if that was one round or.
Jack, do you remember?
The description: your allies can see and easily understand you. You can instruct each of them to take one specific action, same for all of them. If they choose to take that exact action, they can do an additional action immediately. So I think it's a one.
Okay,
Sorry.
no, that's okay. I'm fine with that.
But your
I
attack will be
actually am
used.
taking. I actually am taking this. My action to actually rest because I don't have enough speed points left to be able to unless I go for a lighter attack. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna drop in the hole and whatever I grab, I'm gonna use my unarmed attack to basically rip and claw on my way in.
All right. So that is a 7.
It's eased by 1. Is that with the eased from battle management?
Nope. So that's a 6 now.
Okay, 6.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh well.
I think you did okay there, Crash.
Well, the second one was still missed. But
There we go.
nice.
Okay, so she comes skittering to halt after doing 6 points of damage. Or wait a second. No, sorry. That was a 6 on the roll.
11.
Doing 11 points of damage, stopping with her hands full of just Cthulhu gore.
Goo.
Goo.
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu. Yes, Cthulhu. Okay, and that is it for me.
All right. Let's see. Okay. So Automacon is up next. Let's see. Does he have any external targets now? See, Jack's already been hit. Nope. Okay. So he's going to return to trying to counteract the spell that the priest is now back on to casting. And so doing its best to keep up with, like, as it draws sigil, it is trying to erase it with him. The creature is very unhappy with the overpowered robot at the moment. One of the other things, though, as he is shooting the orange beam o' doom, it is breaking reality with it. It's not just hurting the rocks and stuff. It is opening a place to somewhere else, and there are things crawling out. They are not very earthly. Hopefully it's not going to be a big problem for anybody, but that might be a tomorrow problem. All right, so up next, Jack. The world is just slowing down around you as your brain is just cracking away.
Yep. Whereas the player is going, keep on the big guy or do something about the ads. Because a whole bunch of Wrigley stuff just came out of the ground, right?
Yes. But you think that, like, they're probably not going to end the planet if they're here for a bit?
Are the immediate threat to us?
No,
No.
they are not where you are.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's bang bang. Okay.
All right.
Based
Your
of
target is now 7.
7. Stuff is eased by 4 now. So do 1 level of effort. And I put in another level of effort to up the damage. So that's 12.
Does that include the one I gave you?
Yeah. Does the level of effort increase damage by
3.
1 point or 2 or more?
effort increases damage by 3 points unless it's like an area attack or it ignores armor attack, at which point it would normally do it by 2.
Okay, so that's 14 points of damage. And let's see if we can pull that
So
off.
you did need it. Don't forget
again.
the asset that Bill has given you.
Yeah, it's already factored in.
Okay.
just did the math slightly out of order, and yes. So that's another 14 points of damage.
All right. Gene. Oh boy. This thing is really starting to show structural integrity problems, which is probably good.
Mm-hmm. So I zip on back to Bonnie and Clyde over here. Not pictured in this scene. And I asked them, it's like, are you here to help or just watch?
Okay, so you head back over to hang out with the family and USA, who's, trying to make a plea like, guys, seriously. Erebus does one of the numerously now weird things he's figuring out he can do, and the world slows down around you guys. He looks at you, says, well, we can't really fight it, can we? That would be unsporting. So we're trying to figure out how this is all going to go down in the end.
I don't know. I think that looking over, we're putting up a pretty decent fight.
So I have a question for you.
You want this GM intrusion?
Are you going to let me have statesman?
See, the problem with letting you have statesmen is that it really, I don't know, it doesn't cast the light on my crew that I wish to portray, even with around the, public and all not really being here.
He raises his eyebrows. Oh? You think the drones aren't surrounding us right now? The whole world is watching. That fight is the only thing anybody's seeing right now. Understandably, it's their whole world going apart after all.
Of course. Silly me. This is Excelsior after all.
I'll make a trade for you. You let me have him, and I'll make sure you end this as the good guy. Not a good guy, the good guy. And he looks over at USA, and USA is like, what?
And I lean in, narrow my eyes, and say, good in whose perception.
Points back out towards the city over his shoulder. Everyone else. I think I have enough pull to make that happen.
And my team?
They're your team.
They are my team. I lean back. Think for a minute. And ask Eddie, is there any sway, any pull that you have over this situation? I don't give a crap. And this is all mentally, and that's like, I don't give a crap what the public thinks. I don't give a crap about any of your other relatives. I want my team to be safe, and I want to restore a normal, as normal life gets around here for my city.
Eddie pauses for a moment and then says, and your head turns to look at USA, who's standing there frozen. He's not outside. He's not included in the time stop that you're currently in. Do you trust him to keep your city safe?
Him?
That's what he's offering you.
What's the catch?
You
There's
have to give
always-
him. You have to give him a relatively innocent life. Depends on what you think of statesman, honestly. It's currently Statesman City. If he takes him out of the equation, it's your city. It could be your country if you want.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So I survey and I'm looking at what's around Cthulhu. Is the statesman still, has he
He's trying to
recovered?
crawl out of the hole that he's in. So like you see like one of his gloves kind of coming up, trying to hoist himself out. His flight ability does not seem to be assisting him with getting out of this particular instance problem.
Okay. Okay. I've made my decision.
Yes.
I lean in super close to Erebus. Know this. I took an oath a long time ago, and that oath was betrayed. And my trust was broken. It's taken a long time for me to recover that. And I almost lost it because of what's in here. You see my team out there? We've got a very important job to do. We're going to remain focused on our objective, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Bystanders who aren't practicing self-awareness, making poor choices that aren't part of my team, I claim no responsibility over them. They are not under my watch. Do I make myself perfectly clear?
Crystal.
I have team members to inspire. And
time slips back into normalcy. You see Statesman starting to pull himself up a bit more, and then a cloud forms around him of darkness, swirls around, and he's gone.
get on the comms. Ice, are you all right?
Other than being covered in giant frog goo, yeah, I'm fine. You planning on joining this fight anytime soon?
2 steps ahead of you. We just had addition by subtraction. Look down.
That's not how math works.
Thank you. I was about to say that.
Not on this planet anyway, but Eddie.
All right, Texas Instruments. I understand. Something about non-Euclidean, yada, yada, yada. Get with the program.
I am under no circumstances going to refrain from referring to you as Texas Instruments from here on, because my brain just put those two things together for some reason.
Is it Ray the Texan though?
I was
Exactly.
Oh, exactly.
And he plays
And what does he do?
Where do you think I got that from?
All
I'm
right,
not
so
the
I
fastest
look
person
down.
always.
So I look down. What am I? As I'm hanging on to the
You see
slime ball here.
Statesman disappear. He's crawling up out of the hole, and then you see that Erebus has taken him away. Because you know exactly what that teleport signature looks like.
Oh, that was a waste of a use of a teleportation ability. So now what?
We take the goo that's there and we continue to gooify.
Works for me.
I don't have too much longer keeping Clifford over here on my leash. And I have nothing else to extend it, so
It's all right. I may have something.
that was what I was hoping for.
Right. So next up, Matrix. Now with her primary rival in this world, who's attempted to abduct her once, has disappeared to who knows where.
Erebus. Erebus knows where.
Yeah, pretty much. Ice might find it. So
Not a like, top 5 list, but yeah.
She thinks for a minute, holds up her arm, types a few codes into a number pad on her armor, and then waits. Hex is having a wonderful old time here because he hasn't seen a fight like this since the last time that West Ham knocked out Big Red, in the finals for a complete unexpected showdown, and started a riot himself because he was so overjoyed with it and burned down half your neighborhood. But that said, he decides to let's pick something. That's right, he only has the one ability, so he once again shoots at the big hole in the monster's forehead, which once again starts necrotizing around it. The creature is not really looking any better now, as the hole is now extended out well over 2 yards in width. And then pulls up and shouts up, "Get him, boys!" Because what else is he going to do? And speaking of which, So, Ice, you hear something coming closer, closer. It is the sound of every crow within many, many miles circling around the battlefield.
Hmm. I'm assuming I see Nox in and among them.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I look at Nox, gesture with my free hand because one of them is hanging on to Thu's
Swiftly
non-existent ear.
necrotizing flesh
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
And point to his eyeballs and say, "Don't those look tasty?"
Get 'em, boys.
All for the eyes, boo!
Buffet is on.
All right. And so, what are you going to do for your action?
For my action, I'm going to keep with, the giant pickaxe of ice just seemed to do really well. So I'm going to do that again, moving a little closer, kind of in, but not fully, because I don't want to risk hitting any of my friends that have stupidly gone inside.
All right. Target 6.
Okay. Where the hell is it? Slot. There we go. Because I am in immediate range, I get an asset. Target 6. I'm going to levels there. 2 levels there.
Nice.
Ta-da! So you hit it again, and you take a hunk out of its skull. Just whiff, and just a part blasts away in a whole bunch of frozen gore and still glitter somehow.
Because you can
So much
never get
glitter.
rid of all the glitter.
All right,
So
Esmeralda.
that's just an addition. Sorry, there's an additional 3 points of damage because of my CYPHER
Right.
on top of that. So 9
Okay.
points total.
Esmeralda, seeing the horrors that are coming up out of in the wake of Automacon's blast, starts chasing after them because they look tasty and they're swiggling around and stuff, because that's totally what a cat wants.
They might be mice.
Good lord.
And it tries to pounce, except Esmeralda's kind of a gigantic chunk, so it doesn't do a very good job of pouncing on it and starts getting the crap kicked out of it. Fortunately, it's, nominally immortal. Okay. So, Night and Night continues with his work. Turns up, does a horizontal cut this time, as it's still, he's still rocket falling down from it. Splits open parts of its gut, and as expected, stuff starts falling out. Unfortunately, it's not like orderly or anything like that. It's just miscellaneous parts of guts start falling around and slithering on their own and trying to get away. It is horrifying to behold. So next, USA turns to Jean, says, I hate to tell you this. It pains me horribly.
No, it doesn't.
But we were following the wrong guy. You know that. We were
Oh.
taken we were listening to the wrong side. That really makes me question my judgment on things.
Not going to disagree with you.
So I got something for you then. It's yours.
What's mine?
STEM, the program. Do with it as you will. I obviously didn't do what was right. My predecessors tried to set up something great and I messed it up. So I think I'm a big enough man. I've learned my time. I'll still work with you if you want, if you'll have me, but I think the time of the Liberty League's over.
I'll bring you in as a consultant.
So outside of the great monster, a flock of crows is picking at its face. It's now trying to defend itself. It's not doing a very good job of defending itself because it's losing its balance and other things because it doesn't have a whole lot of brain left. That it's still moving kind of shocks all of you given the staggering amount of damage you have done to this thing already. So Ace, still cruising around inside of this thing's head, thinks for a moment, grabs a hold of Paw's arm, spins her around at an absolutely ridiculous amount of speed. If you weren't as tough as you were, you'd probably, have just popped an arm clean off of your body, but fortunately not, and shoot you straight down the length of the creature. Roll a free attack.
Okay. Because the creature is helpless again, fighting off against the crows attacking its face. Is it actually helpless or incapacitated, or is it just distracted?
It is certainly at this point incapacitated. It's not helpless, but it is not at its full abilities. And since you're attacking from the inside, it can't defend itself on the inside.
Anyways, okay, because then let's. Okay, so I can't use that one because I don't have. And we are now. Are we still at a 7 for the base difficulty, or is it dropped again?
It is now to 6.
Okay, sorry, I lost track of the math. Oh, okay. I am not.
Does anybody have an experience point?
I do.
Don't you, Paul?
I do have one experience point.
Yeah.
Use it.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Hey!
Okay, so
Nope, I know not to hit it there now.
that starts at 11, and because that it's considered to be incapacitated because I'm inside of it and horribly distracted, it takes 18 points of damage.
Oh, but wait, there's more. As you start sailing down at a fairly ridiculous speed, having been propelled by Ace, then something else happens as you're tearing through its interior. From way above in the atmosphere, the previously overtaken satellite that that Crash had somehow managed to get into and out of, fires off one last shot because Matrix is that good. It fires down through the hole that you're traveling, hits you, and propels you even harder to the point where you were shot clean through it, out through the bottom of it, and barely managed to land a proper superhero landing as a torrent of horror and gore comes out of the bottom of the thing with you,
Oh,
and you land on the ground.
You're never getting that stink off.
never. I'm gonna have to burn this suit and take about 5 showers to be able to live with myself.
And everybody who is on or inside of the creature needs to make a target 8 speed defense roll as it starts toppling over.
Can I teleport instead?
You can totally teleport instead.
I am teleporting instead.
Can I do the running down the bits?
You have to roll it though.
Okay.
Okay, did I need to roll for that also?
No, you're already on the ground.
Okay, so basically,
You just need to run so it doesn't land on you.
Okay, so I
Yeah.
am...
You're just
I
Covered
actually
in-
teleport back to where we first showed up because I can be teleport to anywhere that I have been to or seen.
Okay, I am phased, which means I get an asset, which means I get an additional modifier from exploit advantage, plus the 2 for my defense.
Yeah,
and
I am going to
just make sure I'm doing this right. Yes,
nope,
I
nope,
am
nope, 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 nope.
I mean,
actually teleport back over here by Jacked Off.
Oh. Or wait, I'm sorry, what did you say it was? An 8?
It's an 8.
Okay, then I'm going to use Hard to Kill to re-roll that. Because it allows me to re-roll a speed defense, a defense roll. I will now put in the difficulty. Be that. There we go.
There you go.
Ooh. Okay, is that
So
everyone
as-
who's
so-
inside?
As I am racing down, I actually make the mistake of trying to use a particularly goopy bit of gut as a leverage point. Slip, do a couple of cartwheels in the air, end up, going out into like a skydiving pose, and making my way the rest of the way down from there.
So you hit the ground
Running.
just in time that as it starts falling largely towards everybody, is the last action in combat, Akira holds up her hand and pushes it backwards. It falls apart into just a pile of goo back into the river.
She is really living up to her nom de guerre.
Yes. Tetsuo! Grenade!
Anybody else hear tiger drums?
And so in the news feed, seen by the entire world, as they watch the thing fall apart, the heroes climbing and scrambling out of it, and eventually the monster just falling back into the water, and the green lettering around starts to fade, and the stars all start realigning and turning back into their usual pattern. For which pretty much everybody is great. Because, save the world and all, that's what heroes are supposed to do, whether they not believe they're heroes. And so, Gene, you're standing there watching this. And all of the drones and other things are starting to focus on you. There are helicopters flying overhead. You can feel their spotlights are turning up onto you. And Erebus turns and squares off against you, and he holds his hand across his guts and leans forward a little bit, as though he's been fighting. And he leans forward and says, Queen's Gambit, you win the day, but don't worry, I'll be back. And then he disappears with the others, leaving you, your team, and your few allies that were along here standing with all of the other villains gone in the night. And as he's promised, he's just handed you the victory that you wanted. Because let's face it, the people aren't going to know what the fuck happened with the giant monster.
Yep.
There was
They
a
don't
fight,
want to
it fell
know.
apart.
So I make sure and I fly over to wait, where where are we? Where am I? I just put on the comms like reconvene on Jack.
This is not my beautiful dimension.
Right.
Oh, good. I teleported to the right place.
Yeah. Yes, Neva, I was watching.
Okay, well, I'm Jack, you said.
As you all gather together, Atomic Han straightens up, opens up the thing in his chest, pulls out the orange stone, looks at it again, and then holds it forward to Jean. I should not have this power.
At least somebody here is wise. I take the stone to take it back to headquarters and probably devise a safer storage unit for it.
Hey, Jack, we need something better than a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Cue the warehouse scene from Raiders.
Yeah. Exactly.
Men.
Except it's all coffee cups. Just crates and crates of coffee cups
And IKEA shelving.
with a whole bunch of orange D20s just in each one of them.
Oh my gosh.
Figure out that one, you filthy casuals.
So Hex looks around. Oh, I don't know about the rest of you guys. I could really go for a cup of coffee.
Fuck that. I need liquor.
If I don't get a shower beer, somebody is going to die. And I look at Hex. Just give him a glare.
I look over to Neva and I say, I could get you in a place.
Let's get the whiskey to add to the coffee.
Ooh, the Buddy Hackett special. I like it.
Crash pulls out a Hellbender Club coin and just starts flipping it. I know a guy.
So I turn to Hex and say, as far as I'm concerned, our deal is still on.
Oh, certainly. Besides, I don't like fighting you guys too much anyway. I mean, it's fun, but you're going to kick my ass.
Yes.
Repeatedly. With prejudice.
Jack's just in the background making sock puppet motions while he's talking. Just
Okay, Crash is still there, flipping the coin, just mouthing to himself, 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000.
So Hex walks over, reaches down, grabs Matrix's hand, because, well, she is still a little girl, and starts leading her off towards the bridge.
Because that's not creepy at all.
Come on, he's practically your grandpa.
That doesn't make it any better.
No, not at all.
I'm going to say, everybody hands in. like you do at a thing.
Mm.
And then I'm going to try and teleport all 5 of us to Sunbucks.
And you don't even have to roll it.
Nope, I don't.
So, boop, you all appear at Sunbucks with your favorite barista,
Yes.
already pulling up your typical drinks. Like, well, that looked fun.
How many of us are covered in alien goo?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I walk behind the bar, turn on the faucet of the sink, and I start washing my hands and my face about 3 times, dry everything off, turn around, grab a tray, and start loading it up with muffins and cookies and all sorts of stuff from the display case. Bring it out to the table. Like, and just like right in the middle of the table for everybody. Just time to start eating.
Crash actually looks down and walks through walls to vibrate out of the goop, and it kind of stands there as like a human shaped shell before it kind of gloops to the ground.
I reach into my pocket, pull out a wad of cash, drop it on the table, and say, one of you grown-ups has to go buy the booze.
I grab the cash.
I grab the booze.
Yeah. He reappears with the booze. Boink.
I got you one of each because options.
I grab the Jameson's, pop the top, and just pour chugs of it into my coffee. And then shrug and just
Crash leans down and kind of whispers in your ear, "You've taken your first step into a larger world."
I look at Casey and go, who said this is my first time?
She's got you there, buddy.
That's fair, yeah.
She's drinking like a pro right now.
So, and to close us out, Calamity walks over to Jean, pulls out her bar rag, wipes the horror and other things off of his forehead, bends down, kisses him on the forehead, and says, "You done good." So, as promised, 6 months pass. Y'all have a lot of things going on, of course, but the city is safe. The reins of power in the city have shifted over to you guys. Your leader now has control over STEM to, well, do as he wishes. So, to start off then, after 6 months, what's Jack doing?
Well, kind of a montage. You see Jack sitting down in what looks like a classroom with a bunch of young scions and young atoms together, and he's going over math with them.
Okay.
Really basic, trying to do it fun and interesting.
Unfortunately, he keeps skipping ahead to like advanced abstract trigonometry.
Well, he's doing that with one hand on a different chalkboard while he's just, handing out the little bright gems that, this is how you divide, this is how you multiply, that sort of thing. there's a another shot with Jackdaw taking ballet classes. And he looks over in the mirror, and there's a young, probably about, 10 or 11-year-old girl with really short hair for some reason in in a tutu in the mirror, not outside, and she smiles. Then we cut to another scene with Jackdaw walking into, the STEM doctor's office clinic and their shift. And he says, I think we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about. And then it fades to black.
So, Paw.
So starts off with her sitting down with Bill, her parents, and the other leaders of the Adam family, the other top people, negotiating not just a truce, but to work together. Flash forward a little bit more and see them working together to actually rebuild Rikers Island as a compound for both young Adams and Scions. So they are building housing structures, places to work, do research. They have a huge communal garden that takes over a good chunk of the space. So more than they can use to basically feed themselves, but to be able to go and drop off throughout the city for people. She takes she works on teaching self-defense and combat to young women, both Adams, Scions, and just regular humans, to make sure that they are safe from all of the bad that's out there. And just leaves it at that. Just trying to oversee, bring some good back into the world.
All right. And next up, Neva.
Well, Neva has finished her first semester in college. And she has decided that she is not going to pursue medicine like she thought she would since she was 6 years old. Instead, she's become really interested in thermodynamics.
Nice.
On top of that, she has informed her parents and her aunt that she is a goddamn grown-up and has moved out completely even from her aunt's house and taken up residence in the room that was set aside for her at headquarters because, damn it, she just needs to not be answering to her parents. She occasionally goes and helps Jack teach math to the little kids.
They may have picked up some interesting swear words too in the meantime, but
and she's not wearing black all the time now. You occasionally see little pops of color in her clothing. Not much, little bits.
Yeah.
But what's going on with Knox though?
Oh, he's hanging out with me. We're buds.
So for Crash, I actually need to know first, Ray, what happened with STEM? Is it still going? Have you dismantled it? Just give me an overview.
So, you mind if I jump the line, Patrick?
Go right ahead.
Gene gets the keys to the corner office of STEM. One of the first things he does is you see in one of the larger meeting rooms, you see Gene meeting with Grendel. And the scene after that is Grendel working with Paw in order to establish protocols, external security, relations within to without, in order to reduce the isolationism that was plaguing the compound. And you see Gene, you see there's just just sort of just flashes of scenes of him kind of in an office and like trying to find something to do and maybe pacing and maybe making a phone call or two. And then you see it cuts to Gene on the phone as he's like, yeah, if you could meet me in my office and can you be here in 15? Great. And in walks Marla, and Gene offers her a seat. She sits down, and Gene looks at her and goes, I spent half of my life working within this system, under this umbrella. I was just trying to make a difference. I was just trying to figure out who I was. Hell, what I was. And that got ripped away from me. And I had to scratch and claw and nearly sacrifice everything in order to get it back. Look at these walls. They're not me. Look out the window. I need to be out there. I've relied on you for intel, for guidance, hell, for directions where anything was in this damn organization. And I reach into my desk. I grab a badge and keys. You, your sister, you know what to do with this joint. I trust you. Do something good. Make it work better for everybody. Come on, I'll go grab you a coffee. And so Gene has transferred ownership and control of STEM to Marla and her team.
All I can think is always watching. So, as that scene plays out, Jean walks out of the room. Marla stands there for a second, looks over, says, "You can come out now." And Crash drops his invisibility. He was too good for this place. Yeah, she says. But this place still needs heroes. I suppose in the absence of those, you'll do. And she hands him a little clipboard on which is a job offer for Vice President of Security and Ethics. I'm going to need someone to make sure that what happened then doesn't happen again. And you know, people are always on so much better behavior when they know they're being watched. So let's make them think they're being watched all the time. And they shake hands. We cut to about a month later, where you see the nosy reporter from the annual has now gone into television journalism and is finishing up a recorded interview with Crash about having just discovered and routed a potential coup within STEM that was actually that was orchestrated by someone who has an alien. They don't know who, but they know there is the specific traces of that kind of power. And she looks at Crash and says, "So, what now? I mean, has anything really changed?" And he thinks for a second. He says, "Not yet. But we have all the time in the world." Fade.
And it's the last scene in the middle of Rikers Island, in the middle of this park that's been built for people on both sides to, come together and hang out and, share company amongst people that they've hated for so long. Is built a big statue. It is of the monstrosity that once walked the island and fell into the river, and nobody's even thought to go looking for wherever it went because
Good call.
it was bad. So it's a big statue with a crew of people standing in front of it. The Queen's Gambit, all standing in their various defiant poses, with a couple of their friends working with them as well. And the sunlight, filters down upon this awful green stone. Nobody knows what this thing's carved out of. But oh man, whoever found that really just needs to get smacked. But the rest of you, of course, are cut out of granite. And a couple people walk by, go look at it, say, "Wow, I can't believe it's almost been a year now since that happened." Like, well, yeah, but life carries on. It's not the first time that the world's tried to come to an end, especially here in Excelsior. And well, everybody came together to help fight it. Yeah, they did. Well, says the little one, do you think that means that the villains are finally gone? And then the older one looks, says, "Oh no, trust me, the villains will be back." And that's it for the powers that be.
Woo! So, ladies and gentlemen, this was issue 34, Season's End, and they certainly have. Yeah, that was a great one. I love that. So we're gonna get out of here, take a little bit of a break, and come back and do the last after show for the powers that be. I'd like to thank everyone who has come along on this journey with us. And again, I promise we've got more in store. We're going to go into a fantasy realm that I haven't actually named yet. I'm going to be stepping into the GM's chair. And we'll see where it goes from there when we start Echoes of the Undying next time here at Vitruvian Meeple Productions. But in the meantime, for Patrick, ECAT, Matt, Julie, and Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Good night, everyone.